Can you imagine your life where money is your friend, working with you to achieve all your dreams and desires? If you struggle seeing money as your friend, then join Kathy Cook Noble, financial advisor and educator on understanding how your money can work for you. It is possible. Now, here is Financially Speaking with Kathy Cook Noble.
Good afternoon and welcome to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Kathy Cook Noble, and we get together here every Monday night and we talk about all things financial. Sometimes there are questions that I get asked either in my practice as a financial advisor or bookkeeper, or sometimes there are questions that I get asked at home at family events, or sometimes just friends and family when we're out and about ask us questions. And sometimes I get they have a question for a friend. So a lot of the time, and actually I would say all the time, the shows come from someone that I've talked to that is either confused about a topic or needs a little bit more information on a topic, and that's when we do the show. So if you have questions about anything financial, whether it is something that you think, oh, I should know this, because I do get that a lot, especially with women, and I'm going to tell you shouldn't know anything. There is no requirement for you to already know something. There is nothing wrong or any shame in not understanding it. There's stuff I don't know all the time, and I ask about it. So never be afraid to ask. I will tell you that's one of the big things I get in my practice. I have women that they come in with their partners, and a lot of the time their big complaint about it, advisors is, well, they always talk to my husband and they don't talk to me, or I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to feel like I'm asking a dumb question. And I always say the same thing to them, and I say to everybody else, nobody should care more about your money than you do, quite frankly. And there is nothing wrong. I ask questions all the time. And I meet with I have an accountant that does our stuff, our tax filing for our corporations and everything every year. And I ask him questions all the time. And I think even in my position as a licensed advisor and a bookkeeper, you think, well, you should know a lot of these questions. I don't even care if I know the questions. I like to hear that I understood something right, or I interpreted the new taxes correctly, or the new programs correctly. So there's nothing wrong with asking questions. And that's entirely what this show is about, is asking questions, getting clarifications, and feeling more comfortable with your financial understanding, and making yourself as happy financially as you want to be and can be. Financially Speaking is just one small part of the Inspired Choices Network. And my part is the financial part, but the network itself is meant for a whole variety of issues or questions that people have. And it really is the platform for improving your life and making your life the very best that you can possibly make it. And with that, I would say there are hosts on the network that are extremely experienced and have a lot of deep understanding of issues about relationships, child rearing, running a business, life coaches. There are all kinds, just an array of conversations that we have on the network. And I would encourage you, if there's a question you have, or if you're just not quite sure about something, then plug yourself in and either reach out to the advisor or the host, because the hosts are very accessible and are very willing to talk to and answer questions. You can join us live in the chat room on the inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Or here's a really great idea. And since we are talking about things to do at the first of the year, one of the very first things you should do is download the app of the Inspired Choices Network. It is absolutely free. There's no excuses why you can't have it, because it's on Android, it's on iPhone, it's available free in your app stores. We are on over 250 platforms where you can listen to our podcast and watch us on TV. Who knew we'd be doing TV? I'm Christine knew, our owner, our boss, but people like me who are usually behind the scenes, we certainly didn't. I didn't think I'd be doing TV, and here we are. And that's what we're here to do, is help everyone as best as we can live their absolute best life. So download the podcast, plug yourself in where you need it. And if we're missing something, which is entirely possible, and you think, geez, why don't they have a show on such and such? And you think, I'm the expert on it, then you need to talk to Christine McIver, because she is the host of the Inspired Choices Network. She's also the owner of the actual network, and she is awesome to work with. And believe me, I tell you from experience, remember, finance person, I do deal numbers all day. If you think you can't host a show, and she's got a numbers person that's hosting the show who usually is behind the scenes, believe me, she can help train you get to the point where you are comfortable hosting a show. So reach out to Christine anytime, and she will be there for you. And today we are talking about getting ready for the new year and what that looks like, what our routines are. And I thought, who better to bring in our friend, Brent Beshara, known as Besh, to his buddies, and his rituals on not just his daily rituals, but how he gets ready for the year, mental preparation, physical preparation, financial preparation we talk about throughout the year, and I emphasize it all the time. Financial preparation is something that you're doing constantly. You're looking ahead to Christmas. I know it's just happened, but we're thinking, how are we going to get ready for Christmas this coming year now in 2022? We're going to start planning for it now. You start setting money aside, and we talk about that. And we had a whole show just on that. But I wanted to bring our buddy Besh back because we want to talk about how we get ready mentally and how we prepare for the new year. And he is our lifestyle contributor on Financially Speaking. So who better to start the year off? Welcome to this show, Brent. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks so much for having me, Kathy. It's so good to see you again.
You too. You too. So here we are, a new year, getting the show taken off again. And Brent is, for those of you just joining us, Brent is also in Canada, but he's on the East Coast, so he's not even in the same province I am. I'm in Ontario, right in the middle just about, and he's all the way out on the East Coast. And we're going to talk about some of the very cool things he does out there. But he's also our lifestyle contributor here on Financially Speaking, and you will see him throughout the year. And he joins me with some fantastic pieces of wisdom and lifestyle encouragement, and all these pieces connect quite honestly and quite literally to make your financial status better and your life in general overall better, because we know all that is connected. So Brent, welcome back. Maybe share for our new listeners and just start off the new year a little bit about yourself and anything new and exciting that we can share.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thanks so much, Kathy. I look forward to these our get-togethers, and it's kind of neat because we've never actually met in person.
I know.
It's
one day, cool. Very soon.
One day,
sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Well, I'm a retired military, as you can tell by my hair. It's this is the playoff hockey hair I'm going for, and while I'm retired military, I did 24 years in the Canadian military. I was a Navy bomb disposal diver. I was in the Special Forces, and I had a fantastic career, but that fantastic career came at a cost. It cost me mentally, physically, somewhat spiritually. But I just, through the goodness of my own fortitude, I was able to invest in myself, invest in walking more, invest in learning to meditate, eating better, and things like that. And so I was on medications for 7 years for the stresses and the anxieties and the depression of 24 years of service, but now I've just really invested in myself and my health, mentally, physically, and now it's paid off. Yoga saved my life. I got off the medications, and now, for me to help others, I got to take care of myself first. So, I've just been really investing in the things that really do work. And for myself, it's lifestyle. I find that diets and fads, they don't really work, but what really works is lifestyle. So I've just really committed to getting really involved in my own life, what makes me happy, going where I'm celebrated, reducing the amount of news, and so as you can see from this piece of art behind me, my bride and I had I still have a successful knife company where I designed, and I used to hand make knives, but now I've just really reduced that activity. I decided to make more music. So I sold all my hand making equipment. And now I fill my day with helping out my bride, Kellyanne, with making this art happen, by investing in our business. So we have two businesses. And so it's kind of neat because I was very excited to after our last session to talk with you again. And the theme that really came to my mind with this next session, again, the beginning of the new year, is to be our own assistant, right? That nobody can really do it for us. And since we're having this life and we're talking about money, financially speaking and such, I just find that with Kellyanne and I running both of our businesses, that because we've had many and numerous assistants over the years, but we found out that after 18 years of such work, that the amount of time it takes for Kellyanne to task the assistant, wait for that work to be done, and then follow up with that. We've said for years that we should just be doing it ourselves, just doing that task. And now that's basically what it's come down to, is we've just really done that task. And now we don't have to afford that assistant. And there was times when we needed that assistant, when we had to upload all of our images to those platforms and get that all up there. That's just a lot of keystrokes. So that was a great time to have them. But now with the regular maintenance of what we're doing, we're finding that it's just easier that we just do it ourselves. And so that's what we've done. We've really committed to lists, and we've really committed to actioning them. And that's what we've done this last week. There's all these lockdowns and stuff, like for the last 2 years. In the beginning, it was actually really good for us because it gave us the time to rebuild a new website for myself and revamped Kellyanne's website. And so we've just really gotten at it over this last year and a half, 2 years now, and it's really paid off. And now with the technology, she can do all the ordering and finances all with her thumb now. It's really amazing. So if we could have a theme about today, it would be just being our own assistant, really investing in ourselves. We're the most important person in our world. And if it really is to be, it's up to us, up to me, up to ye, up to we. So that's, I feel, is the really important part of whatever package we're dealing with, is to really invest in our own happiness, mentally, physically, spiritually, and invest in what makes us thrive, not just survive, because that's not what life's about. Life's about thriving. And so truly investing in what makes us happy, right? Dreams do work, following dreams, but also does action. Like, it's one thing to have an intention phase, but we have to follow it up with an action phase. Because if we don't do the work, like all nature asks, because nature does provide, and all she's asking of us is, she'll work with us, but not for us, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're so right. A lot of people, and I find it's funny. You think just being in finance is just all about the numbers and what do you what are you doing with your money? But the reality of it is, it's so much emotion attached to it. And it's a lot of people that I talk to haven't got the confidence even in themselves that they feel to make the decisions about their finances, or they don't feel confident enough that they should be making decisions. And I always think, man, you are the most important person to yourself when it comes to making decisions. You don't want to leave that to somebody else, even somebody like me who does it all day. And it's not up to me in that regard to look after your money. Now, I treat everybody's money as if it's my own. So that's how I approach my business, because I like to see it grow, and I like to see people successful, and not just in the investment side of it, but just understanding their money and making sure they know where it is. And you're so right about it. It's really about your lifestyle. It's not about, I'm going to put you on a financial diet, which is a lot of the time what people think it is. Well, you got a budget, right? So a budget is just financial diet. And right. And then that usually stresses people out. It's the same way people get stressed out when they hear the word diet. Well, I got to give something up. That's exact, right? Because I got to give something up. That's normally where they go. And with the budget, I got to give something up. I'm not going to be allowed to go to, the fast food coffee places and stuff like that. But it's not about giving it up. It's about understanding who you are and what matters and what makes you happy and what fills your life, really, right? And what makes things work for you and your family. And you've been focused on that for so long, and you've gotten so good at it. And I know you have regular daily routines, but maybe today what we'll do is we're just coming up to our first break. Holy smokes. This is what happens when Brent and I get together. It's like an hour is not long enough. but we'll take our first break of the night, and then when we come back, we'll talk to Brent and get his get some ideas on his annual evaluation and really his routine and how he sets himself up for a successful year. And you know what? I always tell people, you always learn something. Now, taking exactly what Besh does for his yearly evaluation, if you want to call it that, but just to get ready for a successful year, we all do something, even if we just think about it on January 1st. Some people write out what's called New Year's resolutions. And we'll talk about our opinions on those. I find myself resolutions are things that are all fun when you're having champagne on the first, but they don't last. And the evidence shows that's the case. Is, gyms are a big one, right? I mean, I know right now it's a little bit different, but gym memberships shoot right up January, February, and then they drop right off. So I don't think resolutions work. I think it's just, let's look at our lifestyle and say, what do we want for our life? And Besh and I will talk about how we do that when we come back after the break, and what we look at in our own lives. And pieces will help and pieces won't help, and you take what works and discard the rest, because everybody's different and unique. So don't go anywhere. You are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Kathy Cook Noble, and I have my guest host with us, our lifestyle contributor to Financially Speaking, Brent Beshara. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Too many of us get caught up in the unreal lives of reality television and complete to acquire stuff, which is setting us up to accumulate lots of debt. We're scared, confused, and don't know who to talk to. By tuning into Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble, you'll learn tips you can use to improve your financial health, which in turn can improve your overall health and make for a very happy life. Live a life you can afford and enjoy. It is possible. Listen for Financially Speaking radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Financially Speaking Show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Kathy@bookkeepplus.ca. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Kathy Cook Noble, and my guest host is Brent Beshara, known as Besh to a lot of people. And he comes and joins us a few times throughout the year to really check in and make sure we're on track. And he's our lifestyle contributor here on Financially Speaking. And finances really are, when I say they're a lot about lifestyle, I don't mean they're a lot about lifestyle in the sense what it can buy for you. Sure, if you have a lot of money, you can buy a lot of cars and boats and houses and stuff like that. But it's really about the lifestyle in terms of what makes you happy and what works for you and your family, and what is required to really give you the life that you want. So I think, Brent, when you and I talk about lifestyle, we're really talking about a very similar thing. And it's not just about how much money can you accumulate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that success isn't a number. I find for me, again, this is only for me, and what I've learned over the years is success is being able to do what you want when you want. And by that margin or by that benchmark, I am successful in the sense that, and Kellyanne and I've worked hard for the last 18 years, almost 20 now, to make that happen, to make that again, a lifestyle. And so that's what we work towards, is being able to have the fluidity, to be flexible in our life, right? And so I try to be there for others, right? I get phone calls and messages throughout the year, And I just share my story with people. And again, please don't take my word for it. It's only my best guess. But when we render things down to what does make us happy, much like when we were children, what do we like to do when we were kids? Well, we still like to do those things, believe it or not, but we get full of thoughts and habits and routines. And then we wonder why we're not happy, right? Because we're chasing potentially a myth or something that's unfulfilling, right? So for myself, I just render it down to the very basics. I get up, I drink a hot water, I meditate, I do my breath work. I study a Dutch man from the Netherlands called the Iceman. His name's Wim Hof. Because he can, he says anyone can. And through a simple practice of mindset, like meditation, breath work, and cold exposure, it's radically changed my life. I've been able to now, for the last 7 years, I get 2 blood tests a year, and I've had all my numbers, all my markers, inflammatories, cholesterols, and things like that have gotten consistently better. She says now that I've got the blood work of an 18-year-old cheerleader. So, and that's just simply through a commitment, a bit of commitment to commitment. So I just commit to those things that make me happy. And I commit to this routine of this breath work and the cold exposure. I was in the pond this morning, and I'm in every day from 2 to 5 minutes in a frozen pond. And it fills me with a sense of, firstly, I get that shock, that slap in the face. Whoa, right? And then it just sets my whole system for the day. And after you've sat in the icy cold water for that, and then the rest of the day is kind of gravy, right? And so what it does is, just a little bit of the background, is that shock, that cold, and the breath work gives us a hormetic stress. And this hormetic stress helps rebalance and our hormonal releases, right? And so because we're living in a Western world that we're basically being civilized to death through this Western lifestyle, sitting in our room temperature boxes all year round, getting into our room temperature cars, going back into another room temperature room. So we're not really challenging ourselves, and the body doesn't like to be sedentary, right? And so if we initially do the work, like initially we say that life looks like it's happening to us, but when we do the work, we realize that life's happening for us. So when we just commit to this practice of taking that punch in the face first, then our body responds with that hormetic, that shock to the system, and the body, it's like lifting weights, right? So when we lift weights, we're actually scarring our muscle tissues, and it heals itself. When we give ourselves a shock, like I can stand 20 minutes on the ice in my bare feet now, and my feet don't get cold, right? Because what we're doing is we're educating our cardiovascular system, our heart, to respond to pumping blood to our extremities, and also releasing new adrenaline, cortisol, and epinephrine. Because this sedentary lifestyle, what's happening is it's creating autoimmune issues, things like our fibromyalgias, lupus, Lyme's, Crohn's, Addison's, Hashimoto's, Raynaud's, COPD, some cancers, and things like that, by living this Western sedentary lifestyle. But when we get involved in our life and we start to commit to movement, yoga, breath work, and you don't have to be a freak like me. You can just thoroughly just take a cold shower after your hot shower. And I think in our last episode, your hot water ran out, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. And I am aspiring to be a freak like you, because I have been reading, and I'm almost done my first book, the Wim Hof method. And I had heard about, I didn't know it by name, but I had heard about the cold water exposure. So I told you it started, I kind of play with it a little bit with the last couple of seconds of the shower, kicking into cold. And the last time we were together, that's right, by complete fate of the universe, my hot water tanks stopped working. So I had my new hot water tank stopped working, and I had a cold shower. And it's funny, when I go out in the cold, like today, it's only minus 10 here, but out west, I think it's double that. But I always think, the cold area, it hits you, and you're like, oh, that's so refreshing. And now I look at it completely different, and I'm like, this is cool. So I'm just starting to learn the breath work. And we have a pond at the back of our house. So I'm kind of picturing, when you have to go on Besh's Facebook, and you have to look up Brent Beshara. And he has got on there videos of him with the ice, and it is so not complicated. It is so easy.
Yeah.
When people talk about this, like, oh, well, what kind of ice, what kind of pond, how deep? No, it is so not complicated. And I watch you do that all the time. And I'm always liking it because I'm like, I'm going to do that. And I have a pond at the back of my house. I'm thinking I can do that because we do have that. So it's not, I think it's just frozen over now. But I don't know, I'm quite ready for that, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
Right
So
on.
I think it's great. And your health is, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how long you think you need all this money. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And your health is the most important thing that you can possibly do for yourself, is to treat it well and treat it with respect, and do all that you can do. I think do all that you can do to keep yourself healthy. And that doesn't mean being radical or anything. And honestly, the stuff that you do and share is not radical at all. And you look at it, you're like, and even reading Wim Hof's book, and you're thinking, when he says, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And you think it's so simple.
Yeah.
It is so simple. And that's the only thing that worries me, is I think it's so simple that people don't do it because it's so simple. And I'm just getting into learning a lot of it. And I think, you overthink it. Because I'm like, with the breaths, and when I started, I'm like, oh, so does it have to be 30? And how many is it 3 reps and 2? And I'm like, he says it doesn't matter, just do it. So that's why I'm like, and we all know how to breathe. So I'm like, we can all do this.
Yeah.
But you've been 7 years on the journey with that part of your, like, you've put all of it together, obviously, and with your life, and picked the parts of the lifestyle that work. And I think that's awesome. So I'm just getting started, but next year, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to, this year, I mean, like, for the full year, I'll get through this full year, and then I'll be able to show you a video of me.
Well, actually, you and I are gonna talk offline, and you'll be in the water a lot sooner than that, I'm sure.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. So, like you're saying, like about aphorisms or the New Year's resolutions, and that, like, for me, it renders down to who's the most important person in our world, right? And it's not our parents, and it's not our children, and it's us. Because if we don't invest in ourselves and take care of ourselves first, how can we be there for others? So by doing the work for ourselves, I like to say how to learn how to meditate, right? And maybe we can do that in the next section, just to observe some things. But then again, like the pilot says, we have to put our own mask on first. And if we want to be there for ourselves and for others, we have to learn to love ourselves and love others. So, when we really commit to our shit, it really happens. But nobody can do it for us. And like when we care, life cares. So by just stepping up to our own plate, making a list, checking it twice, and just really committing to this stuff. And yes, and there's a lot of balls in the air. There's a lot of things happening. So for us to be there for others, we need to be resilient for the daily occurrences. By learning to meditate, we can observe the mechanism of our perception, learning to see the processes where our thoughts lead to our feelings lead to our actions, and our actions lead to our results. Feelings are simply biochemistry. And if I hang on to my number 2, for example, because feelings are like flatulence, better out than in. No different than a burp, shit, sneeze, fart, laugh, or orgasm. It's a process of the body. And if I hang on to my number 2 for too long, I'm going to get bunged up. Emotionally speaking as well, if I hang on to my emotions, the unprocessed emotions of fear, doubt, worry, lack, scarcity, blame, guilt, things like that, and I hang on to them, I don't release them, then I'm going to store that stuff in my tissues, fascia, joints, bones, and muscles. So by mindset, breath work, and this gradual cold exposure, we can learn to let go and process the unprocessed. So that's all we're doing, is learning to process the unprocessed feelings stuck in our tissues. The breath work allows us to release that stuff naturally by crying, screaming, whatever, but at least it comes out rather than us hanging on to it and snapping at the person paying for their groceries with pennies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Really well said. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great. And yes, I think that would be wonderful. Let's talk about meditation what you can talk about what meditation when we come back, because I know you've got a lot of experience with it, and we could all use a lesson in ways to do it, things to. And again, I tell everyone, right now, my husband and I are the ones, we're studying this together, and I've become super annoying at home because I'll be reading, and I'm reading something, I'm like, Todd, okay, so it's this easy and we should do this. And I know it becomes super annoying. The kids, if they're listening, it's coming. You're going to be annoyed too. But I think it's awesome, like to be able to tweak a little bit, and if you can get more energy out of your day, and you even just feeling better. Like, who doesn't want to feel better? It's pretty great. So when we come back, don't go anywhere. Besh is with us for the whole hour. We're going to specifically talk to him about meditation and what that looks like, on how to even get started. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Financially Speaking with your host, which is me, Kathy Cook Noble, and my co-host, Brent Beshara. And we'll be right back.
Too many of us get caught up in the unreal lives of reality television and complete to acquire stuff, which is setting us up to accumulate lots of debt. We're scared, confused, and don't know who to talk to. By tuning into Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble, you'll learn tips you can use to improve your financial health, which in turn can improve your overall health and make for a very happy life. Live a life you can afford and enjoy. It is possible. Listen for Financially Speaking radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Money is complicated, right? Actually, no, it's not. You don't have to be a trader on Wall Street to get a handle on your money. TV shows often instill fear to keep you believing you can't understand it or do anything yourself. If dealing with your finances brings up a lot of other F words, then you need to read All Ladies Should Use the F Word, A Guide to Loving Your Finances by Kathy Cook Noble. Kathy helps you take control of your finances and leave the other F word, fear, in the dust.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Financially Speaking Show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Kathy@bookkeepplus.ca. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Kathy Cook Noble, and my co-host, Brent Beshara, is joined us for the entire hour. And as he will be doing throughout the year, we have check-in shows with him to make sure he'll help us stay on track with our goals, and all-encompassing goals, not just the financial goals, because that's really just one piece of the pie. And as much as we get a lot of focus on the financial, and I'm not discounting the importance of it, because we all need money to live and pay our bills and enjoy the lifestyle that we want, but it's really just a piece of the entire puzzle of what makes you up. So before the break, we've been talking about different techniques that Besh uses with his own lifestyle to keep it in a good, healthy order. And we started talking about meditation and the importance of that in general, but specifically, Besh uses that himself. And I think we all do, to a certain degree, do some kind of meditation. I just don't know that we're always consciously aware that we're doing a meditation. Like, even people who, when you catch them and they're just kind of off daydreaming, I feel like that's some kind of a meditation. They just aren't really aware of it. Does that sound right or make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You're getting lost in the moment. Like, I think kids meditate continuously just because they have that presence. And that's really what it is being present to ourselves and what's going on inside, and being aware. And so I found meditation just before I left the military, about the last 5 years before I left the military, and it just really helped me out. It helped me diagnose what's going on. It helped me observe my own mechanisms of my own perception, right? And then it just allows us to sit, and you can do meditation by walking. You know, and it's not doing our list, but sometimes doing our list is important as well, because we have to sort things out. But what I like to recommend is simply 5 minutes for 5 days. Just set a timer. Get used to the commitment to commitment is really where it's at. It's not quantity, it's quality. So if we sit still for those 5 minutes, just with a timer, and just sit and observe, and we're just going to simply observe our breath, we then can let things go. And doing this kind of activity can bring things up emotionally. And it's happened to me. So by allowing those, because what it is, it's like if we have to throw up, if we have to vomit or have a bowel movement, we don't care what we ate, right? We just need to blow that shit out. And that's what we're doing emotionally, is by being present to ourselves, and some breath work. And again, if you go to wimhofmethod.com or look up a Wim Hof guided breath on the YouTube, those are great techniques. And that the deeper breath work totally brings things up. And I've able to release a lot of my military stuff and learn how to process it. And like we process a laugh instantly when we hear the joke, it sends sounds to our ears, puts a picture in our mind, and we see, for example, what did the one snowman say to the other snowman? Do you smell carrots? Right? So now it's that simple. So you process that feeling. That's a feeling, a good feeling, because there's only two types of feelings, those that make us feel good and those that don't. You just processed a good feeling. But we've learned in the West through our sitcom nature to stifle and stuff all those emotions down inside, especially men, right? That's what we're good at. So, right, and then that's why we have anxieties and depression and paranoia and fear, and stuff gets built up, and we snap and we lose it, because we're not processing those feelings. And again, they're no different than flatulence. So you can go to wimhofmethod.com and see his, because he's got 3 free courses on there, and then you can learn that using his breath work. The breath work I'm going to show you is different. So just get comfortable, get relaxed. The Wim Hof breath is conscious, focused, induced, and it's deep breathing. Fully in, letting go. Fully in, letting go. We're not going to do that. You can go to the wimhofmethod.com and check that out for yourself. But what we're going to talk about is the yoga breath. And the yoga breath is completely the opposite. It's slow in through the nose. It's slow out through the nose. And that's all we're going to do, is just simply observe our breath. So just sit back, relax, just listen to my voice. And this is all we need to do, is just do this for 5 minutes for 5 days. And it has such amazing mental health benefits. So just relax, get comfortable, and just slowly get comfortable and relax. Listen to my voice. Now I'd just like you to bring your awareness to the room, the temperature, the sounds, the sounds. Do you hear sounds outside the house, outside the room? What sounds do you hear in the room? Now I'd like you to bring your focus to your sensations, the feeling of your feet on the floor, the feeling of your buttocks on the chair, the feeling of your hands wherever they are, the coolness or the warmth. Just feel the temperature of the room. And while we're doing this, just simply slow in through the nose and slow out through the nose. Slow in through the nose and slow out through the nose. Just slow it down, slow it down. See, now you feel all this sensation on the outside of the room and on the outside of your body. Now I just want you to slowly bring your awareness to the inside of your body. There's an outside world and there's an inside world. Slow in through the nose and slow out through the nose. That's it. Now bring the awareness to the inside of your body. Just follow your breath. Follow it in through your nose, follow it in. See if you can feel your heartbeat. See if you can slow it down. Just a little bit. Just become aware of your heartbeat and slow it down. That's it. We're just dialing into who we're being in the present moment. Just witnessing and observing, without judgment, without pictures, without mind, just observing the whole moment for what it is. Slow in through the nose, slow out through the nose. Slow your heartbeat down. That's it. Now just notice again, there's an inside world and an outside world. We have the ability to participate with the outside world, but for right now, we're just slowly dropping into the inside world. That's it. Slow ins and slow outs. Slow ins and slow outs. That's it. Slowing it down. And what we're doing is we're telling our body through the vagus nerve that everything's all right, everything's okay, and it always works out. It always works out. And that's it. Slowing it down, slowing it down. That's it. Just listening and observing without judgment, just letting it be. Let it be. That's it. Now, take a big breath in. Let it go. Big breath in. Let it go. And one more. Big breath in. Hold it. And let it go. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Big breath in. Stretch. And bring your awareness back to the room. Rub your hands. Rub your hands. Rub your face. Wash your face. That's it. That's it. And all we're doing now is coming back to the room, waking ourselves up. Yeah. And that's it. That was 3 minutes of just chilling out. And by breathing through the nose, we're telling the body everything is all right. Everything is okay. And this is a very powerful technique that yogis, gurus, sifus, sufis, sages, mages, magi, medicine men, medicine women, wizards, warlocks, and witches have done for thousands and thousands of years. Just slow their system down, allowing it to reboot naturally, allow our hormonal release to just rebalance itself. So we don't have to make a major commitment to things like these New Year's resolutions. We just need to commit to ourselves. So through a daily practice of being still and know thyself, gnosis ipsum, as they say in Latin, we allow ourselves then become familiar with ourselves, then we learn to like ourselves and then love ourselves. And that's the ShamWow moment, is when we go from the outside to the inside world and we learn to love ourselves. Then when we fill our cup first, like the pilot says, to put our own mask on first, when we fill up our cup, we can be there for ourselves, have more focus throughout the day, more energy, more commitment, more understanding, and a better prioritization through our lists and the commitment to our lists and getting her done, because there's a reward at the end of the day by getting her done. And so by this little bit of commitment, we get resounding ROI, return of investment, by, again, balancing ourselves mentally and physically. It doesn't take that much, and it is pretty simple.
That was awesome. And the comments in the chat room will concur that it was amazing. It's the first time that Barbara said she's done that, and she said how good it felt.
Right.
And it does. And I find personally that there's so much to do all day, and running different businesses and all that. You're just, and you almost get anxious because you're trying to get it done and you just can't seem to go any faster. And people think you don't have the time to take that 3 to 5 minutes like we just did. And you don't have the time not to, is the way I see it, because you owe it to yourself to take care of yourself. And I think right now, Besh, don't you, more than anything, there is so much conversation about mental health. And there is so much need for people to really get their mental health. And mental health isn't just about your brain and having some kind of diagnosis on it. It really feeds to your whole physical health. And I think people maybe don't give enough credit to the fact that your mental health can have a profound impact on your physical health. And your physical health has an impact on your happiness and your livelihood and how long you live and the quality of life. And like it's so connected. It is so connected. So we can talk about money and say, we're going to make everybody has this goal to make all this money, but if you're not taking care of the very being that is going to be making the money, and you're not going to be here to make it, spend it, and enjoy it, then and whatever that looks like, it could be through charity work that I know people that their goal is to make a lot of money so that they can do a lot in charity, and which is great. But you have to be here, you have to be in the healthy mind and body to be able to do that. And that was great. That was great to be able to do that on the show and have it recorded, so that anyone now, you can't even go say you don't know how to do it, because we have it on a recording, and you have the perfect voice for that. I would buy that app. So I think it's great. So we're up to our last break of the night. Don't go anywhere. We're going to come back and get some final thoughts with Besh on how he's laid out his year, and if he's adding to or subtracting any of his normal rituals and commitments. So don't go anywhere. You are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network, and I'm your host, Kathy Cook Noble, and our co-host is Brent Beshara. So we will be right back.
Too many of us get caught up in the unreal lives of reality television and complete to acquire stuff, which is setting us up to accumulate lots of debt. We're scared, confused, and don't know who to talk to. By tuning into Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble, you'll learn tips you can use to improve your financial health, which in turn can improve your overall health and make for a very happy life. Live a life you can afford and enjoy. It is possible. Listen for Financially Speaking radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Financially Speaking Show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Kathy@bookkeepplus.ca. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network, and we have spent almost an hour, once again, just zipped by. We've spent almost an hour with Brent Beshara, and I encourage you, seriously, follow him on Facebook and watch how he really shows you the simplicity of the cold water program and method. And it's not that I'm saying, oh, you got to go out and do this method, and it's not one of those, oh, another program. It's not like that at all. It's simply just a lifestyle. The meditation that Besh took us through before the break is just a simple lifestyle technique to make you aware of your own self and your own health, which is so important. If you want to be financially successful, you got to keep your body successfully happy, and that means healthy. In my opinion, that's making money is easy. In my world, I think it's very easy to make money. The challenge is to make sure you're here to enjoy it and spend it, and it doesn't cause you all these other health issues by making it, and the stress and the anxiety of getting to that point. So, Besh, what have you got? I know I don't think you're a New Year's resolution on January 1st. You sit down with pad and paper and say, I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing all year. And I the same. I don't do that. I just think, I plan for my year, and I think these are the things I'd like to accomplish. These are the milestones I'd like to hit. These are, changing my habits just a little bit. Instead of 10 pages a day, I'm going to read 20 pages a day. And it's really about, and actually that was one of the books I just finished, Atomic Habits, and it's about either starting new habits or breaking bad habits that you don't want. And these aren't bad habits like I need to quit smoking. These are just, I don't really like the way this is going. I don't like going to bed late, for example. How do I change that? That's just a habit, that we're going to change over time, and by doing simple very, very simple changes to your lifestyle. And once again, that word lifestyle, it all comes really down to lifestyle. We're not changing who we are in the sense like tomorrow I need to, if your goal is to quit smoking, for example, I must quit smoking tomorrow. We're not making drastic and huge dramatic moves. They can be, but to make them last, we want them to be integrated into your life so that they're comfortable and they make you happy. What do you do in terms of, visions for your future when you get started in a new calendar year?
Yeah, great question. I just want to back it up one bit, and then we'll roll into that. Is that back to the sedentary lifestyle and such? It's because we're mental and physical, right? So I could have the best thoughts in the world, but if I don't do anything and I commit to couch and chips, I'm going to create dis-ease in my body. Whereas I could have the best lifestyle in the world, but if I have the shittiest outlook, like I have a lot of fear, doubt, and worry, I'm going to create dis-ease or imbalance in my body's responses, right? If I always got a negative, pissy attitude, I'm going to create more of that tension within my body. So now we're going to roll into the resolutions part of it. Is yes, I don't have resolutions per se. My resolutions are my everyday life. I commit to the stuff that makes me, hey, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box or the brightest bulb on the tree, but I just know that if it can work for me, it can work for others. So I really commit to those things that make me happy and fill my cup. So for me, the Wim Hof method, going in the pond, fills my cup. Hanging out with people, that fills my cup. So I don't mean to sound cliche, but it's kind of neat, but those cliches kind of work, and it's just a bit of commitment. So what we have is we use AnyList to make our lists, and it's AnyList, but it's a very powerful app. And we've got the family pack so we can share. So I've got the honeydew list, we have the grocery list, we have a travel list, we have things like that. So every Monday we commit to going through our lists, right? And we're adding to the list throughout the week. By Monday, we have a Monday mash, a Monday, and we commit to, like, that's what we're in just before we started our session today, is going through the list. And so we have things we have to do. There's things for the house. When you have a house, there's always something to do. It's like having a ship. So there's always something to do. So we just really keep in the sense of like lifestyle. Kellyanne went for her workout this morning. I went for mine. I did my workout. So when we meet up, we're fresh, we're frosty, we're ready to kick butt. Yes, we don't want to live this adult life, right? We're just babies having adult experiences, but we got to get that stuff first. It's, for me, it's like eating my carrots first. Like as a kid, I hated carrots, but I realized if I eat the chicken or the steak first, I'd still have to eat those carrots. I hated it. So I just learned to take it in the face, eat those carrots first. So that's what we do now, is we just pick the most toughest stuff, like the website stuff, the email's not working, whatever it is. We're not getting orders, the printer's not, all that stuff. We just, what do we got to do? Like our taps are leaking. I can't, it's beyond my scope. We got to hire a plumber. We don't want to be doing that, but we got to get it done, or we're going to have water in the kitchen, right? So this commitment to getting it done is such a powerful return of investment. And so, and again, we don't need to be freaks like the Tony Robbins or the Jack Canfields and these ultra human beings that are really delivering high quality content all the time. We just got to commit to ourselves, right? If it is to be, it's up to me. So we've been practicing, not really, but working at rendering our list down, cleaning up a closet. Like every Monday we commit to 2 hours to cleaning up a closet or a room or something like that. A cluttered closet's a cluttered mind. So we just really commit to our stuff. And now we're getting the results of it, refining our systems. And you're not trying to wash all the plates at once. Let's just wash this plate versus getting overwhelmed at the whole list, because we've had years of diagnosing this, but really just committing to what's next on the plate. And maybe it's 2 things today, maybe it's 5 things, maybe it's a great day and we get 10 things done, but at least we have a list. So rather than, like, we have goals, we want to pay off the house, we want to do some traveling, so we're saving up for that. So by commitment to these things, but living each day as fully as possible. Like for me, again, this is only for me, it's to create a life worth living, right? To, like, each day, what can I do that's going to fill my cup, and how am I going to create this life worth living? Firstly, for me, it's love of myself, and then love of others, everyone, being kind, and love in action. Love in action is kindness. So when we're out in the world and we're meeting and greeting people, like, truly a commitment to kindness is an overwhelming. When I left the military, I was a complete butthead. I was full of all this military programming, that there's a they, that there's an us and a them, right? There is no they, right, Kathy? There is no they. There's only us and our family and friends.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Financially Speaking Radio Show. Kathy Cook Noble will return next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.